All right, looks like we're now live. So here's the weekly update. So I guess the first item is, so for this week, I'll be concluding the live streaming until I gain 2 to the X channel members. So last week we did 2 to the X, 2 to the 5, which is 32. So that stream lasted, I think it was 14 and a half hours. So that was that one was starting to get that's the longest live stream I've ever done. And I learned that YouTube only keeps live stream VODs that are up to 12 hours, right? I think it did. So it did actually keep it, but it only kept the first like 11 hours and 55 minutes or something. So that was a long one. But we met the goal, mostly due to there were a couple people who contributed who did a large number of gifted memberships. So that's actually where the majority of the goal came from. Yeah, and I was thinking about, like, I could try for 64, but I think at that point, at some point it's going to get that one would be getting up to like probably 24 hours or so, and it would be probably I think going beyond 14 hours I think would be pretty boring from like, I would imagine from like 3 a.m. till like, the end of the stream. Probably I'd probably be basically burnt out, and it wouldn't really be interesting to watch. And yeah, as I mentioned, a lot of them came from gifted memberships, so it wouldn't necessarily to put it on a small number of people to disproportionately support the goal. So anyway, I think, and the other big reason was if the live stream VOD is not, if it doesn't save it, then that kind of disincentivizes me, because then it's a lot of it's just getting live streamed into the void. So there's no long-term record of it. Okay, got a couple of chats. Yeah, pretty long. Second. Hi, Rob. Dark Project says, hi, Rob. Smart Pills says, howdy. Hi, Rob. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, pretty good so far. It's nice. It's warmer here. It's actually the first day that's been much warmer in quite a while. Did you see that Ubuntu is planning to replace the new core utils with utils? Yeah, I did actually see. I think it was a mental outlaw video came up in my feed, and but yeah, I guess yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on it. I guess now maybe if that's trending, people will watch some more of my core utils videos. Or I don't know, maybe because I made people think about core utils so much more, it made people thought like, hey, let's rewrite this in Rust. Blender and Kden. I mean, Kden Live. That's what I use for video editing. Also want to remake of all my audio software in Rust. Yeah, personally, I don't really get the. I've never really coded in Rust before, and personally, I don't yet see the appeal. I think it's kind of tragic that the core value proposition of Rust was not just like added as like an experimental feature in C or C++. What you're referring to as Linux is in fact utils Linux, or as I've recently taken to calling it, utils plus Linux. Hello, Robert. I have a new conspiracy theory. Do you want to hear it? Sure. So the next update item was I got my notice on when the next hearing date is for the N13 merits. It's going to be May 26, 2025. So that's the, so we did the previous one back in January 27th. That was to hear, well, like, should the cases be combined? And they concluded yes. And so the actual N13 merits hearing is going to be, I calculated it was like 75 days, so like 73 days now in the future. Did you take CS 458 with Ian Goldberg in 2011? Ian Goldberg, he's I think the answer is yes. I think his name is Ian Goldberg. He's like a real what did he do? He made the off the record message protocol or something. But yeah, that was one of my favorite courses. Landlord update. So yeah, I guess that was just the main update on the landlord. So the hearing is the next N13 merits hearing is May 26th. So that gives me a better time to focus on other things before I have to dedicate more time and attention to that. Do you have any new AI creations? No, I guess my daily posts, I use, of course, a lot of AI art in those. But that's the only thing I've actually been using AI for. I saw some like funny LinkedIn post today. It was like, I don't know if you've seen those ones where you see them on YouTube where there are people, there's like these AI text-to-speech things of like reading Reddit comments or something. They're probably all like, even the Reddit comments are probably made up. But it's a person playing like Minecraft, and they're like jumping over lava and going up this jumping around in Minecraft, and it was that thing, but it was like a text-to-speech thing with a simulated conversation with like Family Guy characters. But it was on LinkedIn. They were talking about like SaaS software, and the whole comment section was all about like the brain rot is expanding into LinkedIn as well. There's some nicer features in utils. I hope it's more than just one-to-one rewrite. Yeah, I think when I was going through a lot of the core utils commands, it kind of seems like a lot of them were just written by like maybe one person, and then it kind of just was never like there's a few of them that have some ambitious. They're like, to do, we'll add this support for something, and it's people that really haven't thought much about it. I mean, I also kind of am torn because at the same time we have all this like crazy AI stuff, and I kind of wonder if like rewriting that stuff is not really the best use of time. Like if there isn't some like is this really going to be the most important, impactful thing? These kind of like outdated like, I mean, the fundamental ones like MV and CP and all that kind of stuff. But I think some of the big wins would maybe be if we could like develop more formal specifications and interfaces, and then just get AI to write all this stuff automatically from the hyper good specification language. You have a Discord channel? Yes, there's in the like channel. I think if you click on the memberships tab on, like, if you go to my channel and click my memberships, there's a post that mentions a link to there's a Discord. So the way I'm thinking of doing the like community long term is maybe so there's one person, actually, he's here right now, Bradley. He's I'll have to change the chat. But yeah, I'm thinking, so the Discord there is hosted by Brad, and I'll probably, basically have like ownership of, I'll maybe get like, I don't know, a couple Discords or something going. Cause honestly, moderating stuff is work, and there's already some people have like disagreements of like political content and stuff like that. And personally, I don't like it. Discords commonly have drama in them, and I don't really care to. I'll maybe set some like basic ground rules, so like no illegal content, no whatever. But if people want to have like their own, thing where they ban certain they don't like someone's politics and they want to ban them or whatever, then make long term we could maybe have like a couple of discords or something. But for now, there's just one, and there's not that much activity there, so maybe maybe just go with that one until there's I think a necessity to expand it. Maybe I'll check the chat. Okay, so the conspiracy theory is big tech and corporate interests are planting political division into open source groups to divide and ruin FOSS, securing the public's dependency on paid software. I mean, would that even be like a theory? I'm sure that's I'm sure that that stuff does. Like it's probably not even like some centrally planned thing. It's probably just like, Microsoft is like, hey, we'll just send some people over here to like post some mean comments in this community and mess it up. And I'm sure that's been happening since the dawn of time. It's amusingly ironic that your comment was actually censored. I can add invite here if Robert is okay with it. You mean the Discord link? I think I'll probably consider in terms of ownership, I'll consider that and also like moderation decisions like that. I'll just put them in the hands of whoever is like owns the given Discord. So right now that's Bradley, and I'll consider it Bradley's Discord as long as there's no like super crazy stuff that goes on there. Like if people want to have political arguments and stuff, I really don't care to mediate that kind of thing. But having said that, I'll probably I'll try to it's on my to-do list to just write down like a set of kind of basic rules, like no illegal content, no like promoting scams or don't leverage my personal name or brand to like promote some stupid cryptocurrency or something. Some kind of basic ground rules like that, and then as long as people comply with that, then and as long as there's nothing, I think it's probably good to like discourage intense political debates and stuff like that. But the more I think about it, especially the way politics is now, it's impossible to separate technology from politics. They're political decisions that are made now have an enormous impact on every aspect of technology, and even our ability to have housing where we can write technology. CH says, "Hi Robert, what did I miss?" I guess it depends in what one context, in this stream or overall. So I'm going through the update now. I guess the main update is I got notice of my next hearing date. I'm also going to conclude the live streaming until I gain 2 to the X channel members. The last one went 14 hours. Sort of ironic how Robert talks about the content within my hidden comment without reading it. Ironically, Robert talks about the content within the. Did I not read the comment aloud? I thought I did, but maybe I just responded to it. I'm not too bothered by Rust rewrite. Old programming languages get replaced by newer ones. C also did that when it became popular. Yeah, I mean, the issue I have, though, is like people always assume that if it's newer, it's somehow better, but sometimes it's just like it's a different, you're creating one set of bugs and deficiencies for a different one. And I kind of like to, stick with the old thing and then like fix the problems with the old thing instead of rewriting a new supposedly better thing. I could still create unsafe code in Rust, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's well, I won't go into a protracted Rust discussion, but the fact that you can just kind of avoid responsibility by wrapping things in unsafe is unfortunate. Also, TIL and C, if you have mismatched quotes, then it is undefined behavior. To me, it seems like C standard committee likes undefined behavior a bit too much. Yeah, there's a lot of that if you read through the standard. Just want to say I'm an American and I love that. And I love you and wish you the best. Canada, America will always be best friends. Yeah, I mean, with all the whole like political stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think, in my opinion, it's just so many things to criticize about basically all politicians on all sides of all leanings. I mean, I hope I do hope the tariff stuff actually wakes up Canada to focus a bit on some of the stuff that like just make our economy functional, and then like we could negotiate from a position of strength. But one issue now is we're so weak that we don't really have a lot of have a lot of sway in trade negotiations. Yes, we post so many edgy things. There, our political views are anti Microsoft and pro Linux. I support those political views, and we have our own NFTs. You can write unsafe code even in garbage collected languages. The point is how easy it is to write unsafe code. C++ makes it very easy to do it. Do you think it's worth to learn Rust, or is it just a meme? I'm still a CS student thinking about what language I should learn next. I have not learned any Rust, so I've not even tried like Hello World programs in Rust. I learned a lot about C and C++. Yeah, in my opinion, Rust, I think there is a niche for Rust in actually core utils. I think is probably like a perfect example where a language like Rust is an appropriate language to use. But outside of that, like I think there's a lot of people that say like anything in the future we won't have C anymore, we'll just have Rust. But that is absolutely not going to happen unless like Rust adds a whole bunch of features that I don't even know. Like I'm not up to the latest on Rust, but things like bit fields. I don't know if bit fields exist in Rust or if they've really even been thought about. There probably was at least some point someone. You guys can let me know if bit fields exist in Rust. And then there's stuff like volatile, and especially any kind of embedded systems programming. Like for example, actually I looked this up. Is how do you write a context switch in Rust? And the answer was you kind of don't, and you basically you end up writing more assembly language. And if you compare like an operating system context switch in Rust versus in C you can actually write a much higher, like of course the actual like stack switch is going to have to some of the like the special instructions in assembly to switch between like kernel mode, those have to be in assembly. But it just means that in Rust you have to write more assembly, and in C you can write more of the actual context switch in C, and then you have just a few handful of instructions that actually have to be in assembly. So in that respect, there's like a lot of things where you're interacting with like memory mapped I/O and things that are like drivers and stuff like that, I think Rust does not make sense. Like things where you would basically need to violate assumptions the borrow checker has to make. It makes more sense to write that stuff in C. Especially because like C is almost it's almost just like a fast way to do assembly in a sense. With the whole borrow checker thing. For example, if you're writing an implementation of malloc, like if you are the one actually, if you're writing the code to allocate memory, I think stuff like that does not make a lot of sense to write. C is a more appropriate language. Although I'm not sure. Is the Rust compiler written in Rust? Because if it's written in C, then or C++, then yeah. How is does Rust have I guess I don't see anyone commenting. If anyone knows, that'd be an interesting question. What language is the Rust memory allocation code written in? Okay, I'm missing comments. I would look to learn any language if you got the time. It's good for your brain. You were talking about the political divisions before reading it. Oh, okay. Who says it's a meme? Why would meme language be in the Linux kernel? Keep in mind, same line as Torvalds. Roast C++. Yeah, I think that there's still no C++ in the kernel. I was kind of surprised that he allowed Rust in, but was hidden. No way to know. Oh, okay, yeah. That's the thing. I don't have infinite time. Robert for president. I'm okay with that. C++ and even C will still be around when we're all gone. Yeah, that's why I kind of wish like the main thing that Rust does, if it was just a C feature, so that way all the existing code would kind of have that accessible to it. You could just add more constraints and like you add a couple compiler flags and then like just kind of fix your code to match a smaller subset of C. I chonked my trunks in a taxi in Vienna in 2024. Oh, that sounds unfortunate. I guess you embed ASM for context switch in Rust. Yeah, you do in C as well, because obviously like a context switch actually depends on the processor. So you have to the assembly instructions have to if you're on an ARM processor, it has to be an ARM instruction for the actual ARM CPU mode switch. The same thing for like x86 and stuff. It's a totally different instruction, so it can't be in a language. C++ didn't replace C. Rust won't replace C either. They can coexist. Yeah, but then we have to learn so many languages. Is Scratch better than C? That's not language for people just learning to program, isn't it? C is just a fast way to write assembly. Yeah, I think it's that's kind of that is apparent when you look into how switch statements work. I have an article called "How to Get Fired Using Switch Statements and Statement Expressions," and I think that I think some people don't necessarily understand how crazy switch statements are in C. It's not quite like other languages. Yeah, it's more like a go-to field, I think you would call it. Do you think going to university is worth it, or should I just learn programming on my own? I have many years in C++, but only for competitive programming. I would say the most important, like, unless you're like already independently wealthy, and which is a different question. But if you if you go to, or if you paying the rent is a significant consideration, I'd say you have to do the research on like what is going to get you into the job market in the most lucrative way in your position. So I guess honestly, that's different between the Europe and North America. It's different. And I would say the number one thing to think about at a university college is do they have a co-op program that is good? And will you be able to go there? Because getting the job, ultimately, if you can get a job and get experience, like getting paid to write the code, that's kind of like the main goal. And if you have a bunch of work experience but don't have a degree, it'll be way easier to get the second job. But if you go and like if you go to a university with a really poor reputation in a country that doesn't that has like way too many graduates, then you're going to be competing with so many people. Hi Robert, how are you? Not too bad. Rust uses libc mainly. Rust is definitely not written in Swahili. I would assume so. So I guess malloc in Rust is implemented in C. Interesting. I didn't check independently, but that to me that statement says a lot about the coexistence or the specialized role of C and also Rust. Because if Rust was going to replace everything, then you would assume that all of Rust would be implemented in Rust. I have no opinions on Rust. I moved into Under a Rock in 2016. Yeah, I kind of have the same sentiment a lot. I kind of went under a rock in 2014 or so, at least with like the JavaScript framework ecosystem. I scratched my left hand on Rusty Gate when I was 12. Lost 2 fingers. Wow. That's unfortunate. That would make it hard to program. C++ at the time was really, really terrible. Modern C++ is decent. It's also crazy complicated though. So many different things in it. C is heavily used for microcontrollers, so it won't be replaced anytime soon. Yeah, that's especially in cases like, microcontrollers. Like you don't even have enough like memory space. You don't even have enough like code page space to load in the code that would manage the memory if you even wanted to do that. So in microcodes, basically you have to. What you ideally want, you basically want something that's assembly, but you don't want to write assembly. So you write C, and the C really easily maps to the assembly. Mama gave me tetanus shots after that incident. But I guess you still lost some fingers. We can all agree, Holy C is the best. Yeah, I need to get around to learning Holy C one of these days. Foss Kingdoms says, Echo, hi Robert. How's it going? Any man who tells people to stop giving him money because he was able to pay his rent deserves to be president. Makes me sad that men like you are not in politics. Well, thank you for the kind words. I mean, maybe if the memberships and money keep going on, then maybe things do look bright for the future of my political career. I think it's also I'm also getting close to the limit to where I think if I go any longer than that, it's going to like it's going to become absurdly long, and it's just won't be very interesting past that point. And I think it's I don't know. I think I'll do these like mini challenge things that make money, and then kind of relax for a bit, and then kind of consolidate and reflect. And okay, maybe I'll continue with some of the updates. So I've been saying for a while that I'm working on a new long form video. I said I was going to focus on scripted long form content before, and so I've been working on that, but I just have not got many videos out. So I know it's taken a while. This one's also going to be a long one. The script for this week is as of this week, I'm about 80% of the script, and I think probably next week maybe I should be able to actually start doing some filming. And so for the memberships, so a interesting question is how many memberships are there? So for transparency, here are the numbers for the memberships. So from the total revenue from the memberships is $389, but the breakdown here, so for recurring memberships is 251. And that's with we have a total of 197 members after the last few rounds. So that I guess that's 197. So that would be, so the average number would be probably around $2 a month. And the breakdown for so as I mentioned in the last couple of streams, a large percentage of the memberships are gifted memberships. So and as far as I understand, and I hope the gifted memberships only last for 1 month. So that like if someone gifts you a membership, it's not going to start charging you money after the membership expires. Just after that, I guess you have to watch ads again. But for after 30 days, so that's like I guess the one-time thing for the month, and then after the 30 days, the recurring revenue from general memberships will go down to 251. So if I had 3 more, I'd be at a cool 200 memberships. Let's see. Yes, Bronsol, very respectable. Do you think Canada will be the 74th state of America after Greenland and Swaziland? I mean, it's such a funny proposition. I think mainly it's just something he's saying, because there's so many other concerns and considerations around defense and stuff like that, and like strengthening NATO and stuff. And he could talk for like an hour about we should spend more on NATO and stuff like that. But just like threatening to annex the country is like the response from it will trigger what he wants. But it's also, I mean, I think if they could just like take over us, then why not? If the country was just going to be like, oh, okay, I guess you can take us over. But it's also, it's such a. One thing someone brought up is that Canada's very liberal leaning, so the U.S. would not want to annex us, because then that would make us. It would like completely make the election lopsided in the U.S. and the Republicans would not win at all. So that's one interesting angle. And then the other is like they keep saying Canada will be the 51st state, but what about the provinces? So like, I mean, what if each of the provinces became a state? Like, wouldn't that kind of make more sense? If the individual states, if the individual provinces became states, but I don't think it'll materialize too much. We'll go back and forth and eventually get some trade deal or something out of it. Rust C is written in Rust, so I guess Rust is bootstrapped. It has to rely on libc for syscalls and other stuff. Zig to me is promising. Hopefully it becomes successful. I haven't used Zig ever. I'm actually not familiar with it at all. I recently got a compile net plus certificate and when applying for jobs. My friend told me not to suggest any Mickey Mouse solutions. I guess I don't quite understand that comment, but CompTIA Net Plus. I'm not familiar with those that certificate program. I already kind of know C well. I want to learn C++ or Rust. So I'm thinking about what is a better investment of my time. I would say it depends. It depends where you want to be working. I guess it depends. Are you already employed somewhere, or are you like a student looking to get into the job market and stuff? I'd say if your career is mostly ahead of you, then you want to do the most like marketable thing that'll make you money. I'm not 100% sure. I know Rust is becoming more popular, but I think it's still not quite it's like a hobbyist programming language, and I don't think it's necessarily like when I taught at the college, we were doing like embedded stuff, and Rust was like not on the radar at all. Nobody's writing anything in Rust. I don't know, maybe that was embedded though, but maybe it depends what type of software you want to be writing. Because like I was saying before, if you're doing more embedded stuff, then probably C++ would make more sense to learn. But if you're writing like desktop software, like middleware, then probably Rust. My computer has been showing me ads for prosthetic fingers. Huh? Maybe that's because we were talking about earlier. We were talking about someone who lost fingers. What are your thoughts on Cloudsmith versus JFrog? What do you think is the best universal artifactory management solution? I don't know anything about either of those. I've never heard of Cloudsmith, and I've never heard of JFrog, unfortunately. So I cannot opine. The Robert Elder Software channel is my favorite YouTube channel. Thank you. That's very, very kind words. Davidson. Please send me maple syrup before I can't get it. If the U.S. absorbs us, then you'll have all the maple syrup. I think we actually have like a strategic maple syrup reserve or something. Like not even as an ironic thing. Could you do making a website in pure assembly, no HTML allowed? Making a website in pure assembly. I assume that's a joke, but making a website, you could make a web server in assembly and then render it. That's one valid interpretation of that question. Python for hedge fund, $250,000. I could see hedge funds using Python a lot, probably for prototyping, trading strategies, and data analysis and stuff. Robert, what are your plans for the future? Are you currently working outside of YouTube? No, the YouTube stuff is basically becoming the full-time thing, and of course the distractions related to the renoviction. Although in the past couple of months things have been a bit better. This week I also the other thing I didn't put in my update is I merged in the changes. So on the last 12-hour stream, I did some work on the block mining simulation game, and so I took the changes and I kind of I refactored them a little bit and I merged them in. So those bug fixes that I did on stream, those are now in the game and they're pushed. So yeah, I think rather than pursuing regular job market stuff, I'll probably try to double down on these kinds of independent things. Oh wow, we don't even have a goal, and we even get a member. Welcome to the club, Varun. Welcome to the member tier. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Kubernetes? Do you think it's just a fad? Will it really catch on? From what I understand, so Kubernetes, if I recall correctly, that is the cluster management software. I think it's kind of like a middleware for like distributing key access controls and stuff like that. I did have one contract where I used, I had to run some Kubernetes commands to like interact with the cluster. From my understanding, it's backed by Google, so it's probably one of those things where it's in Google's interest to promote it and make people use it, and as part of their walled garden and influence operations on the open source world. So probably, given that Google is behind it, as long as whatever Google decides they want to happen, that's probably what'll happen. If I'm correct about that. I haven't actually used Kubernetes much other than that one contract. In my last job, I would suggest things that would technically work, but they would stop working after a while. For example, open VPN certificates would expire. That's one could argue that's kind of job security, but it depends on. Sometimes a Mickey Mouse solution is good for a temporary period, but it depends what kind of software you're writing. If it has to run in production forever, or if it's just a prototype. Oh wow, we got another channel member. It didn't show up yet though. Welcome to the student tier to someone. So I think we're actually probably see where's the so that's the screenshot from before. So that probably means we're one away from 200. Nice. Welcome to the club. I want to get into systems programming and a bit of stuff. So I guess employers will still look for C++ programmers in a couple of years. There's even if everyone wants to get rid of C++, there's still a lot of stuff out there written in C++. There's a lot of stuff written in C++. C++ is probably, I think it's going to take a while for, C++ is an insanely complicated language. The syntax has a lot of weird corner cases, so it'll probably be, I could see AI writing C++ code that does a lot of weird stuff. That's has a lot of subtle bugs and stuff. I think maybe flipping McDonald's burgers might make you money. That's true. It will make you a bit of money. I would always have the option. I believe you need 5 years of patty flipping experience to apply for McDonald's now. Yeah, probably. McDonald's will hire me because of my extensive Rust knowledge. Castle Miner 7999 says, "Hello, Rubber Loader Software. How's it going? Who's going to be the big 200? Yeah, I don't know. We may get one. Although it's what happened to the menu over there? It's not updating. I guess it's I think when I don't have the window open, it lags a lot and doesn't update frequently. Robert Elder Software is one of the best people on YouTube. Thank you for the kind words. About 12 hours ago, YouTube suggested me a live stream from another creator that has eerily similar live streams to you, Robert. The channel is Linux Renaissance. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Are you using an Ubuntu VM in Windows? No, I'm not using Windows at all. Continuing on with the update items. So the screenshot of the memberships, and so one of the things that I was thinking about doing is I have gotten some a couple of emails, and when I was doing the live streaming until I get X and super chats, there were a few people that had like their own projects and stuff. So one of the things that I would like to do is, the reason I have this YouTube channel is because I find technology interesting and I want to promote it. And if any of you have your own, so if any of you have YouTube channels and you've got some stuff about tech or whatever that you're interested in, and you just like to get some viewers, some clicks on some of your videos, let me know. Actually, feel free to. I guess if you're watching this in the VOD, go ahead and if you have a YouTube channel, go ahead and make a comment under this video and say like, hey, I have some videos on tech stuff, and I guess the if you guys are paying for a membership, it makes sense to you're paying to be a member of something. So if I can help, if I can do things that help you guys get. I think probably the easiest, if you have a YouTube channel, it's pretty easy. Anything that's on YouTube, I can link to, because it's if it's on YouTube at a base, YouTube's terms of service. If you have like third-party GitHub projects or something, I'll maybe need to take a look at that. But if there's if some of you have some stuff you want to promote, you're working on a project, maybe you're building the game, maybe you're making your own language or something like that, you're building a compiler, operating system, whatever, then if you've given me like a super chat or a membership or something like that, then go ahead and let me know about that. Because I was thinking so I do the daily post with the AI images, and it actually, even though those are AI, it takes a bit of work to think stuff up, and I wouldn't mind at all. Like if some of you have some amazing project you're working on, then I wouldn't mind just saying like, hey, here's someone building something cool, building a cool YouTube channel. I probably will. I probably won't give any. I won't give any commitments at this time. So I was kind of thinking maybe I could say if you do a super chat of a certain thing, then in return I can just give you some attention, try to get you a couple subscribers on something. But I have reservations about that, because if I did that, I probably get an influx of people who are like, hey, promote my NFT scam, or they'll be like, they want me to direct people to something that's some sketchy malware thing or something. I'm like, I don't really want to promote this. But then if they actually give me some money, then kind of to honor the contract, I don't really want to go back on that. But I'll see a bit more of that, because I have gotten a couple emails, and I did mention a couple of people did a super chat previously, and I promoted some other stuff, got a couple GitHub stars and some subscribers, and I would like to do that, and it's because it's an easy thing for me, but I think it can also give you guys a bit of value if you have a really small YouTube channel where you're doing some kind of tech stuff. Will I ever go back to using Windows? Nope, not unless it's forced upon me. I also have a similar question to CH. Are you running Linux in a VM on your Linux host? No. Have you considered streaming more often? Maybe taking some inspiration from popular channels like Primogen or Fireship to establish more recognition and better chance of commercial cooperation. I have considered maybe streaming more. I guess my business strategy is basically do stuff, do experiments, and then if something works, keep doubling down on it. And so far, I think streaming does actually seem to, if you just sit there on stream all day, people show up in the chat, and there's memberships that you get. And I think projecting this out into the future, like I think if I did this every single day, I think this could actually maybe snowball into something more financially significant. So like I said, if something is working and producing money, and also on the 12-hour live stream, at first, like coding and live streaming, I found that really difficult. But like, I guess after maybe 5 hours into it or something, I kind of I got in the zone where I felt like I could actually multitask the intellectual process of trying to write the code and just glance at the chat every now and then and say something, some whatever comes to my mind first, and I was actually able to do a couple of productive things. Unfortunately, there will be a lapse in my membership, so I will lose my prestige level. If you're, I guess if any of you are on hard times or anything like that, don't feel any reservations if you have to cancel the memberships, or you can maybe if you're on. I think a lot of people just went to there's the member tier. So I have 3 tiers. There's the student tier, which is 99 cents a month. The member tier, which is I think $3.99, and then there's the favorite member, which is I think $16.99. Robert, you remember we went to high school and lived together? I'll probably try to keep online real interpersonal stuff through email. But if you, because I don't want to call out anyone who's who I know in real life to not leak details and stuff like that. But if you want to send me an email, if you go to my site robertelder.org, I think you can find if you go to the contact tab, there's a tab there. You can send me an email. But yeah, I remember you. That was a while ago. I don't think being a streamer is a good idea when you can't speak good. Sorry if it sounds like an insult. I just forgot the word for it. I don't know. I mean, the empirical evidence is people are here, and I can make money from doing it. So I don't. Whatever. Honestly, I would say in balance, I get more positive comments than more critical comments. There's a lot of people that say that they really like the sound of my voice. So. How's it going this evening? It's pretty good. This is the first warm day we've had in a while. I think the way Robert speaks is not a problem, because the substance is more important, and he's being genuine. That's valuable in the internet. I think that's, I do pause and do a lot of ums and ahs and stuff like that. I think if I did more frequently, I'd probably not do that as much. But honestly, in balance, I haven't gotten that many negative comments about it, so it can't be that big of a problem. Have you considered publishing courses like this guy here? I'll probably try to just people have said like do Udemy courses and stuff. I'll probably try to just keep everything like publish things on YouTube, and because that way the distribution is wider, and I like the idea of just putting stuff out there for free, and then the free content is like marketing. You are entertaining to listen to, and your cadence is part of it. A lot of people who speak very eloquently would be terrible streamers. Couldn't do it for more than 5 minutes. Yeah, the way I speak is the way I speak, and it is what it is. And if it continues to make money and people like the stuff that I produce, then I guess like if the degree to which my cadence is good is kind of irrelevant if it's a profitable business endeavor. Very random thought. Have you considered doing some videos on doing algorithm DSA reviews? Studying for job apps right now. I would feel like you'd be good at exploring topics like that. On doing algorithm / DSA reviews. I'm not sure. Oh, data structures and algorithms probably. Yeah, I guess that sounds kind of like lead code kind of review, breakdown stuff. I guess I probably could do stuff like that, but it's not I kind of been away. I've been away from that for a while. There's probably people out there who are better than that. For a lot of it, like as soon as I see it, I would have to like look it up, and because I forget everything. Smaller audiences are usually more genuine. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's probably honestly, I know YouTube comments used to be really toxic, but in the last few years, I'm kind of surprised at how positive a lot of the comments are. There's really not that many negative comments. Makes me wonder if they're all bots. Robert is only at early Elon Musk level of stutter. Yeah, Elon Musk is he's a terrible public speaker, and he's doing pretty good. It would be fun if you would react to more things. It's interesting to see your take. Yeah, I guess that is a common theme. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind actually just. I think I could do like maybe not necessarily reaction, but like I've gotten there's demand out there for like I think people have small projects and stuff they want to get attention to, or even like some people I think do projects. They think like, oh, how do I get a job? I have to have portfolio. I have to have stuff in my portfolio, so they do a GitHub project. But if it's something like interesting, then I could just review it and be like, hey, if you guys think this tool is cool, then go here and give this thing a star, and then you get a few more stars on your GitHub project, and then that looks cooler when you submit it on a resume. Videos on algorithm and DSA are very common. Already do on YouTube. Yeah, I think I'm probably not the most qualified to do it. Like some people who live for LeetCode. LeetCode came after my time, so I've never. I just know of LeetCode. I've never used it or even like looked at it. I know nothing about coding, but listen to this in the background because his voice is relaxing. Yeah, that's I guess if people can watch this who are not interested in coding, then there's some market for it. You get a lot of credit just from all that doping of DIY CPUs. Many hard hours slaving over hot surface mount components. yeah, that how to make a CPU video is definitely a banger. That's over 10 million views now. I really like his videos on core utils. I especially enjoy small stories he creates for each core utils. Yeah, it's a lot of work to make and edit those, and I think they, those videos by themselves don't make that much money. I was kind of hoping that YouTube would change their algorithm and then start putting like tons of ads on shorts or something, but that never quite panned out. Voice is the only voice that isn't very loud and isn't a cooking short. If you have a deep knowledge in a specific field, it's good to consider creating a course, maybe on Patreon, self-host, or on another website. You can mix it with your YT presence. Yeah, there's lots of stuff I could do. I have, honestly, I have my work cut out for me on the current, like I want to get that next video out. I said before, I'm only, the script is 80% done. A few times I've been like, okay, I'll just finish this today, but then I don't quite get there. But that's going to be priority to finish that. And then I've also been streaming a couple times a week just to, I'll probably, for at least a little while, I'll probably do one mobile live stream. If you've seen the live streaming in the woods ones, just to test out the technology and stuff. I love Dreamcast console. It's good for tinkering. Yeah, Dreamcast. I haven't even thought about that in years. Oh, wow, we got a super chat. Greetings from New York. $10. Thank you very much. From FTL baby. I can't make the. I want to make the font bigger, but unfortunately I can't. But am I a real person? Maybe, unless the AI is like all knowing and it's just very good at figuring out everything. And reviewing all the leaked data and stuff. Have you seen any ridiculous LinkedIn jobs that have crazy requirements? I haven't looked at many LinkedIn job ads. Good point, Robert. Sounds oddly similar to robot. Robert, I wonder if it's possible to break down the resources that are used and how much of each, broken down, how long each process takes to generate one frame. Break down the resources that are used. It depends what context you mean in like a video game, or I guess that would depend on exactly what you're doing. FTI baby, this guy is not a bot. Yeah, that's the way I tell if someone's not a bot, is if they do a membership or donate some money. But then I was thinking, Google could actually do that. Google could say like, hey, we like this person's content, but we want to like just give them more money. So they could like have bots. They just donate random money, and that would fool you. The live streaming in the woods thing could have a lot of potential. Could you mix it somehow with live streaming until concept, like live streaming in the woods until I see a moose? I could. At the moment, I'm kind of just figuring out the technology, because every time I do it, I'm like testing something new, and it's a totally different technology stack. So I'm probably gonna just ease into it, just do maybe 30 minutes, hour or something, maybe each week, and then as I become more competent and confident, like it was annoying to try and go live last time because I kept pressing go live and it would say like change your screen orientation, but I think it was actually a bug. But there was a YouTube app update, and I also changed my Android settings, so maybe that'll work better this time. And also just like stuff like the data usage. I had no idea how much data it would use. Live streaming until I gain 32 channel members. Greater than length, 11 hours. WTF is wrong. Wrong with Robert. What is right? I think that's pretty good. 32 channel member. It took 14 hours, but YouTube cut off the end of the VOD. So I think it was 14 hours and 25 minutes was the total. But it cut off the end of it. I play Star Citizen, and it's terribly optimized. I want reasons to be grouchy with devs. Okay, for that you'd need a specific analysis of that specific game. Like this, usually every game is like a game. It's like a render loop where it just basically says like do forever render the current scene, and there's probably some part of that that's it could be down to your computer's not good enough, but then it could also be probably it's probably a really complicated question, because if it was simple to answer, then probably they would have fixed it. But who knows, if some games out there have some pretty amazingly bad programming where they're just like using 100% CPU without needing to. That's weird. So the status on the side updated. So I have the chat revenue, which came later, but it only says one new member. So, but there was two new members. Interesting. You and a few other smaller FOSS YouTubers should do a weekly podcast. Like as much as it would take some work. I honestly think there's too many podcasts. There's too many low quality podcasts where people show up and they're just like, hey, so what's new this week? No, not too much. Made some food. Cooked some chicken this week, and it's not really anything. It's like why am I watching this? I guess that content is like that has like the parasocial value. You can feel like you're catching up with the people, but I try to make sure there's some informational value to stuff. Live streaming until streams are pretty fun, but I also understand how those could become too long and exhausting. I'm actually not. I guess the part of the appeal actually is kind of they become long and exhausting. Although the fact that it didn't. The fact that it cuts off the VOD, I don't really like that. I like having, if it's so much work to do that stuff, I like having the, recorded thing to go back after. Maybe there's something where I can like work things into like a longer term goal of just like doing something or building something, and make it so like this, 5 to 8 hour streams at a time. Of like making some progress towards some bigger goal. And it's also not just the 12-hour limit. It's also, if I go beyond 16 hours, and just after that's not, it would just be kind of pathetic and boring to watch me like falling asleep for a few hours. In-person podcasts would be nicer. 50K if it would be feasible. It's it's not impossible for the long term. I'd been thinking about like maybe reaching out to some people that I know here in the Kitchener area, just do like I thought about like just do like a one podcast episode, because there's some people I know that if I end up abandoning Ontario eventually, then it'd be nice to just have that content available. Do you like any video games? If yes, you could have a spin-off side channel for gameplay streams. You have a relaxing voice and demeanor, and it would be cool to watch. I think I'll probably just, there's only so many hours in a day. I'll try to focus like any, game into just developing the game that I'm working on. And so I'll focus my gameplay on that game. Because there's still a bunch of stuff I'd like to add in that. Maybe not on a set schedule, but could be on a topic basis. Yeah, I was thinking. I think that maybe it could be like a smaller achievable channel live streaming until I reach this goal. That's like something that could be feasibly done in less than 12 hours, but it also goes into some larger term thing. Sweet, we have Vault Tech here. How much for a spot in Vault 101? I'm not sure what that is. Have you ever seen the Dr. RG Plague channel? The only one who has ever asked that. I've never heard that name, Dr. RG Plague. That doesn't ring a bell to me. How many caps you have? I'm not sure. I don't follow that conversation between Vault Tech. There are interesting live streams of people developing games and other software on Twitch, so it's feasible. You don't have to interact with the audience consistently, but in bursts, for example. I think for at least for the start of the stream, it seems like there's a lot of chats that come in. But my plan for this stream was as soon as the chat starts to slow down, then I'll get on with my my list. But I think last stream I did kind of get into a flow where I was able to actually do useful work and then kind of glance back and forth. Oh, I've followed video games. I'm not familiar with those. I've heard of them, but I don't know anything about them. A guy in a mask sounds kind of like you. And make Ben Eater. Ben Eater-esque proto for 8-bit computer. Yeah, I think I've seen that video. I've looked at. I'm familiar with Ben Eater's channel. Bottle caps are basically currency after the nuclear apocalypse. Okay. Yeah, I'm behind on all that video game lore. There's too many things to keep track of. So to summarize, so if you're a channel member, or if you've given me money or super chats or anything, I think it makes sense. Like if you're a tech person, you've like some tech YouTube videos or some kind of interesting project you want to share, I would encourage you to. I would say yeah, probably you could probably just post your stuff. Post a link to if you're working on something cool to like I guess your GitHub or YouTube or something. Of course, we'll have to be concerned about like people posting links to malware or like unscrupulous things. But I think probably YouTube or I'll leave it to Brad to whatever moderation he wants to do. But if you're if you've given me a super chat or you're a member and you would appreciate a call out on a YouTube channel you're working on, is specifically something tech. There have been some other people. I clicked through some people's profiles. Some people do like music and stuff like that, and I've no issues with if you're an aspiring musician or something like that, and you give some big super chat to me, then I've no issues linking to a YouTube channel on something like that if it helps to give you a little bit of a seed audience for your channel. Are you going to code something? Yeah, I'll probably try doing a bit of coding this session as well. I'm currently working on 3D modeling tool. I thought about making YT videos for the dev process, but it seems hard since I frequently rewrite parts. Yeah, I think YouTube is YouTube could give you like even if there's people will post like a 40-minute video explaining their code. That's probably not going to be too interesting. But if you're if you're a good communicator and you can just say like in 1 minute and 30 seconds, like what is your project, who is it for, what does it do, why should we use it? Just make you could even just make like a short YouTube video like that, and that might actually be a good funnel to get people interested in whatever you're working on, and also just like you could link that on. See, can you embed YouTube videos in a GitHub README? It might work well in a GitHub README to just have like an intro video, just say like, oh hey, this is what it is, and like edit it so you're not pausing and stuff, and script it out beforehand. Don't forget about Patreon members. Yes, there's also in addition to the in addition to these members, there's also the Patreon members too, which yes, that's 250 here recurring, and then there's also I think it's close to 250 on the Patreon as well. So that goes a huge way. So huge thanks to everyone who's contributing there. That goes a long way toward making it more financially viable to keep doing what I'm doing. Do you have any pets? I don't have any pets. What do you like to do to relax and unwind from focused work? I guess I get distracted with YouTube a lot. Other than that, I kind of just work on stuff most of the time. I mean, honestly, in the last year or so, there hasn't been too much relaxing time. What is the most wacky conspiracy you believe, Robert? I would say that, I mean, there's conspiracy ideas that I entertain, but I don't necessarily like believe that they're a thing. I emailed you, bro. I'm glad YouTube threw you into my feed. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'm sure I don't get too many emails, so I'll check my spam filter too, because sometimes some stuff shows up in there. But anyway, thanks for dropping by. But yeah, conspiracies. I don't know, when you think about it, how many conspiracies are there in the world at any one time? Literally, people wake up every day and they're like, hey, we should conspire to do this or that. Really dislike how YouTube doesn't let you organize subscribe channels and groups. Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought too much explicitly about my subscriptions. I subscribe to some things, but I don't really go back and check my list that much. yeah, so that's the members. And then I also did this poll of just, what do you need right now for the members? And thought about like, what are some of the main reasons, things people might be looking for on my channel? Just to see like, is, the most pressing thing, are people looking for jobs? And I guess amusingly, a lot of people are looking for the second most common, or I guess close second most common was affordable housing. And I guess unsurprisingly, lots of people are having difficulty, meeting like-minded people. So that's kind of what YouTube is becoming, which is I don't know, it's a weird reality. People are, loneliness is at all-time highs, and it seems like everyone is just going on YouTube, which is why I don't think that's really the most healthy thing for people to sit around watching streams all the time, because you get it's a very one-way type of friendship. But I guess if you're a member, so we can try to maybe get some more discussions going in the Discord, and then I think honestly, like, my face is on all the videos and stuff, but in my opinion, it would make more sense to, like, if there's people who are interested in stuff that I talk about, instead of trying to interact with me, you guys could just like interact with each other, and then that would that way, like, I'm only one person, but there's lots of you guys out there, and that may not necessarily translate into real life relationships, but who knows, if there's enough interest in it, then maybe there could be in the future meetups in some cities somewhere or something, or if any of you realize that you're in the same place as someone else, and the other person's not a weirdo, then you guys can, go do your own thing. Conspiracy theorist, a term made by CIA to take credibility away from people that are critical of situations. Yeah, honestly, I kind of think a lot of conspiracy theories are, in my opinion, conspiracy theorists are not they're not theorizing hard enough. I think there's way more conspiracy theories, but they're also like, they're less connected. Like there's just individual, like you were saying about Brad, about like big tech is conspiring to disrupt like FOSS communities and stuff. But then, like, if you look at an actual specific example of a conspiracy theory, go look into the thing that the eBay executives were doing to a private company, and like that is way more, like that was literally a conspiracy. But it was way more intense, but it was way more elaborate than your traditional conspiracy theory, but it was way more targeted too. But I think there's like way more of those things than people think, and it's not all like, there's no way that all the big billionaires are like cooperating. Like, they might cooperate temporarily, but there's many people who want to take over the world, and it wouldn't make sense for them all to cooperate. Most people here are lonely, maybe due to pandemic. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are lonely everywhere. It's the world is falling apart. Everyone kind of missed out on so much social development, and things regressed from they went backwards during the pandemic, and didn't recover. And now, of course, we have AI and bots and media, all kinds of like media that's very disconnected, and I think I'm doing worse and worse since COVID. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Gen Z in general is, I think it's not even just Gen Z. It's like the world's just falling apart. So yeah, I guess we're gonna have to live on the internet now. I'm located in Central California, but unfortunately, I'm a weirdo. But that's okay. If you can find someone who's the exact same type of weird as you are, then maybe it'll work out. How about that RTJ Doom Cursing, am I right? I don't know what that statement means. Tell us something you built as a kid, Robert. I used to play in there was a brook beside my house. I used to play in the water and build bridges and stuff. COVID really messed with people. Yeah, and it's I get the feeling that the meetup scene here is kind of starting to recover now, but I'm not sure. I mean, it depends if we go into some if the economy collapses or something, it may go away again. I love the eBay executive stories. Yeah, like if someone came to you and said all that stuff that's in that story, you'd be like, oh, you're mentally ill. But like that happened, and the FBI tracked them down, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's insane from eBay's perspective too, because like that's you would think the executive would have more important things to do. Link for it. I think you can probably just Google for like eBay executives conspiracy or something. Try playing paddle, and it turns out to be quite fun. I met new people and reconnected with an old buddy. We sometimes play together, but aside from that, my life's pretty lonely and miserable. Yeah, it's like I say, I don't know what the solution is. And the problem is like people are like, oh, kids these days are all on social media, but it's like everyone's on social media. So it's like if you like, where are you going to go? Are you going to go to the mall? Like and that's what, like, I mean, it's almost amusing. You can go watch like some of the dead mall videos. Do you guys ever watch those of where he puts like the kind of sad 80s vaporwave music, and they're like walking around the mall, and there's like everything's run down and sad, and there's like one old lady in there with a walker. That's you can go there, try to meet people, but more and more people are just spending more and more time on the internet, so it's like a self-fulfilling problem. I live alone too. For now, I don't care. The only thing that hurt me is the fact that networking for new jobs is harder. Yeah, it's I mean, as you get older, like being I think most people naturally spend more time alone. Honestly, like I think it's also kind of not, I've thought about it, and it's not really like a binary either. Like there's the concept of like, what is the difference between being alone and being not alone? And like being, I think you have to, like, in my opinion, you have to really think about the number of feet you are, like how physically far are you from another person, where like you can kind of measure it on a scale. Like if you lived, a few minutes away from something, like if you live, if you're like, have a 2-story house and you have like someone, like I think what kind of ideal living is you have like, family or something that's someone else lives upstairs, but you're like alone downstairs. That's kind of like the ideal long-term living for an adult, in my opinion. But the next best thing is like you live across the street, you live alone, but there's like neighbors or something. But if you're like in a new country all by yourself, that's kind of rough. Yeah, skipping it to watch lots of YouTube is my go-to habit recently. Yep, that's why I guess live streaming is the future. Light bulb companies that won't sell energy efficient light bulbs last anywhere in the world except Dubai. Yeah, I think Veritasium has a video specifically on that. And like, guys, it's just eBay, an e-commerce platform. It's not even that shady. Yeah, I would never have expected eBay. Like there's so many products on there that you can get light bulbs that run off one lot that are 150 equivalent. I watched a ton of those. Can't get them anywhere else. My ex loved Dead Mall videos. I'm not alone. I have plenty of parasocial relationships. Yep, that's the future. What was your target number of channel members? And how did you calculate it? So I started with 1. The first one was live streaming until I got 1 channel member, and then I just kept doubling it. And the last iteration was 32 members, and that took 14 hours and 25 minutes to get to that. Although it was kind of cheating because a lot of them were gifted memberships. I'm just here for the vibe coding. Yeah, I looked up vibe coding. People mentioned it last time, but from what I thought it was more like coding. It was like coding with a vibe, but I think what the definite or that I didn't watch the full video, but I think they meant it more was like coding with AI. So technically, I'm not doing any vibe coding. Society is turning into a version of Logan's Run. I'm not. That's a movie? I guess probably. I'm not familiar with that. Just coding casually with an LLM. Yeah, I'll have to try that eventually. From what I understand, the results are not the greatest. I wondered whether if you knew how to calculate how much revenue your memberships would bring in and how that would compare to bills. So I think my living expenses are total. I can survive on what I need to be like cash flow positive is around $1,600. So the current memberships for the current month. So the recurring memberships are only 251 from YouTube, but there's also have about 250 from Patreon as well. So together that's giving me 500, and then the YouTube ad revenue is still pretty high. I think actually the doing the daily posts I think boosts the channel activity quite a bit. So that's why I've been continuing to do those. But so for the last few months I have been cash flow positive by a decent amount, so I'm catching up. But there's a bunch of just random expenses I've had to deal with. I've been paying off the card, and then all my jeans were ripped. So the other day I spent like a couple $100 to buy some new jeans and stuff. But I'm starting to get caught up on all the. And then I had to get a new phone because my old phone I was actually trying to get somewhere in the bus. And I was outside walking with it, and it said it was like 50% battery. The battery just died, and the battery was starting to go dead very, very quickly. So I figured I might as well upgrade that instead of waiting until it completely goes dead. Because then if the battery totally dies, then it's going to be a whole bunch of work to like get a new phone and switch the SIM out and stuff. So. But yeah, those bunch of those catch-up expenses, I've covered those, and assuming the revenue keeps up where it is, then and if it keeps growing, if I keep getting a couple new channel members every stream, then I'll be doing good. Logan's Run is a 1970s sci-fi classic. Yeah, I have to see it. Yeah, there's a bunch of movies that I need to catch up on for the. What would you call it? The I don't know, culturally relevant technology movies. I want to upgrade the VRAM chips in my laptop to run more local AI models. But alas, that is expensive and might cause system instability. Upgrade the VRAM chips in your laptop. I don't know. I guess if you if you want to do AI models, I would assume you need the ideal way to do that is with a desktop rig. Put some huge GPUs in there. I find the big limiting factor with laptops now is heat dissipation, which I've complained about at length with my other laptop, where the fan is just constantly spinning up. And now that the weather's starting to get warm, that laptop, I replaced the fan in it, but I think the fan's not seated well or something, so the fan is just constantly crazy. Almost 2 p.m. for me, so I'll be dropping. Thanks for the live stream and answering all my questions. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. I have been noticing your community posts lately. Yeah, I think every time you click one of those, YouTube's like, oh, you like this channel, and then it recommends one of my videos next. And I think that that overall brings in quite a bit of new traffic, and also retains existing traffic. You may have to adjust for churn too, assuming you lose a couple of channel members from time to time. Yeah, there already are a few people that drop here and there, and people who downgrade and stuff. But yeah, I guess I'll just keep the line is going up now, so. Allow me to correct myself. It was 125. 240. Yeah, I think the light bulb thing is like an actual example of like a real legit cartel conspiracy. They exist for sure, and there's lots more. Like that's a simple one, but I think a lot of the other conspiracies are I don't know. It's probably not even like calling it a conspiracy makes it sound more like grand than it really is. But some of it's just like a grift. A grift is maybe a better way to call it. Like I watched there was a video. I think Millennial Moron. He does videos about like Canadian finances and politics and stuff. And he just released this like 1 hour and 30-minute video on the Canadian pension plan. He talked about how the Canadian pension plan is like structured to basically just like maximize fees and stuff, and they have a bunch of staff that's like growing and growing and growing, and I think stuff like that is a good example of where, you know, people are kind of conspiring to just, you know, make themselves a job permanently and bring their friends in. So do you use Linux as base platform? What other frameworks, languages do you prefer? Yeah, Linux is, I use exclusively Linux. I haven't used Windows in quite a while. In terms of languages, for my block mining simulation game, I'm using Java. Let's pull that up a bit. So I tried it today, so I guess I've been experimenting with IntelliJ. So let's, I think it's already set up before this, but. Okay, it's just really long. Yeah, so I'm going to try using. So on this computer, this computer's slow, so I actually have another desktop computer that I just SSH into, and then that way I can compile stuff a bit faster. But that's a problem because when I'm coding, if I'm running it on the remote computer, then if I'm editing code, I can't actually like open it. So what we'll do. So I'll try opening the project in IntelliJ over the SSH mounted SSH file system. folder. Oh, 325. Cut holes in my desk for the intake of my laptop. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you have to do now with the really poor thermal performance. Let's actually close that. Still not bad for not seeing the info for over 4 years. In Walmart, you can buy, light bulb, more light bulb stuff. I already read that. What we were talking about is different from the fee-based cartel, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm not well read on the cartel, the light bulb cartel lore. I watched, there was it's a Veritasium video that I think it talks about at least one of them. I think, generally speaking, I think LED is the most efficient in terms of converting units of energy into units of light, because the what's that other channel? Technology Connections, I think. He has a long video about the efficiency of light bulbs and stuff. Now I'm gonna not put my phone by the cable because it'll make noise. Alright, so this is the latest version of the game that's on GitHub. This should have those bug fixes that I added on the last stream. So that there is one of the other bugs that's in the to-do. And the issue that I fixed was when moving this border, sometimes the map was disappearing. And so that is now fixed. There's a light bulb in California called the Centennial Light that's been continuously lit since 1901. Oh, I think that's, is that the one that's in that fire station? I think I saw a video about that. Now, something that was on my to-do list was I have a function here that's clearing the console, and I've decided it probably doesn't make sense for it to be here. Yeah, Veritas and Video. That's the one. So this is the code that runs when you change the size of the screen, and it's going, the idea, the premise is that when you change the size, when the terminal window resizes, you should just remove everything, like overwrite everything, set it to 0. Because of course I have to reinitialize the arrays, so they have to be set to something. I guess this should actually, it would make more sense, I guess, to put, like, initialize the, like the last characters to null or something. Most LED bulbs I own, the LED doesn't go bad, but the electronics, will end up frying. There is no easy way to fix them. No one bothers to create a good cooling solution for the LED driver. The mayor of air conditioning says, "Good job, Robert. Thank you for the kind words." Yeah, LEDs are LEDs are interesting because they're, I think, an example of a what's the phrase? A non-linear electronic device. So if you run, you can get thermal runaway with them, where when you turn on the LED and run it, it heats up, but the increased heat will decrease the amount of resistance, which means that it starts pulling more current, and then that starts heating it up more. And depending on the size of it and how much power you're putting to it, you can end up with thermal runaway. And I guess what happens is that under most circumstances, it'll heat up to a point where it's getting so hot that it just naturally cools through heat dissipation, and then that's your like equilibrium point. So they can run really hot if the voltage is not controlled precisely or calculated for correctly. And I think whose channel? Matthias Wendell. He has the channel, and I think he had a video where he did like a failure analysis on one of his LEDs that failed, and it was just I think it was him or another one of the electronics YouTube channels, and it failed, but it was just because the leads in it like were just not soldered, so the leads just came disconnected, or like it like rotated slightly. So you like opened it up and just soldered it or something, and it was able to work. Game Dev Chad says, checking in. Hope you and everyone are doing well. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's finally warm. I don't have to have 3 sweaters on. Why do you usually have a lighter room in the early parts of the stream? The sun is out. It's dark here. And then I guess I could buy curtains, but I just don't bother. There's a place near me that has those street lights. It reminds me of when we used to have blacklight posters in the living room, and built those 2 massive blacklights. Yeah, there was I saw some news reports. Apparently, there's in Toronto. They bought some like street lights, and they're defective or something, and apparently they have like they go bad, but I mean they look really cool, but they have like a kind of magenta tinge to them after a couple years of they basically look like purple, and it's because of some like I don't know phosphor or something in the lamp that's changing chemically. Backpack Vacuum says, what's good? Things in general are pretty good. We're just doing some coding, working on the block mining simulation game. It's the chip, not the chemicals. Chips overheat. Yeah, maybe. I heard there was something to do with like the phosphor in the. Or thought it was some kind of chemical change, but apparently it's like I mean it looks cool. It's really aesthetic, but the company is in trouble because they're not really good for driving and stuff. It's phosphor coating on the individual LEDs degrading and crumbling off. I watched a whole 10-minute video on it. Interesting. I'm currently formatting a laptop I just bought to run as a mobile server. A mobile server. Interesting. Maybe different problems with different manufacturers. Yeah, this one was a pretty specific. It was a very. I saw some pictures of it, and it was very striking. These Google for like purple street lamps in Canada, and you'll probably find some articles on it. It's been a while since I looked at that. The LEDs are blue. They use a phosphor coating to filter it to white light. Why not Raspberry Pi? Yeah, Raspberry Pis are pretty compact. they make you can do impressively significant things with them now. So you're seeing what the LEDs look like with no filter. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I thought it was some kind of chemical change with it. There's a surprising amount of chemistry to LEDs, and I think blue LEDs were not even like, they were like an unsolved problem in the manufacturing of LEDs, and they only figured out, I think it was the color blue. It was one specific color they weren't able to make until like the last few years. Yeah, and laser optics are pretty get pretty crazy. Yeah, the specs on Raspberry Pi are pretty impressive. They're like, I mean, they can actually kind of compete with some laptops. Yeah, I think a lot of lasers are they're based on like the optical medium is the starting point for development of the laser. So, and you're kind of, the optical media tells you the frequency that of the light that you can actually get going in that medium. So you're kind of limited by that. And that's one of the reasons why rare earth elements are such a big deal, because if you want a specific color, generally you have to use a specific rare earth element to create, either your doped glass or another Veritasium video. I haven't watched a lot of his videos in a while. There's a backlog of stuff I need to go back and look at. Oh, that blue LED video? Oh, yeah. I forget if I watched that or not. I watch so many cool, interesting things on YouTube. Blue took a while. Remember in high school, the teacher foresaw it. LED TVs rise with the development of affordable blue ones. Yeah, screen technology has gotten pretty impressive. Buying like the most advanced big screen TV used to be only for it's the most prized luxury. People used to like, steal truckloads of TVs and stuff now. But now they're all garbage and they're all smart TVs. But the pictures are amazing. I'll have to think about this because I have to initialize this as something. I just did a second fit test of a 3D printed part, and it's still wrong. Nice. I saw a Samsung screen that is itself a fingerprint sensor. Pretty soon, everything will be a fingerprint sensor. Everything you touch will immediately send your fingerprints to the FBI. The AI cameras will watch you and recognize you everywhere. So you don't have to touch a specific spot on the phone to read a fingerprint. I guess that's convenient, but it also means that your phone can now passively read your fingerprints all the time, whether you consent to it or not. And you can accidentally leak your fingerprints. That'll be an even more crazy thing. Think about that. You're going to get phone malware now, and the phone will just constantly read your fingerprint, and now fingerprints are going to be like secret information, but they're also going to be public. Someone says, "Hey Robert, how are you? Not too bad, just doing some work in the block mining simulation game. Put my old laptop into a different case and use it for my TV instead of the built-in Roku. Runs NixOS with a custom launcher." Yeah, honestly, I haven't even had a need to watch TV in a long time. I can already leak face prints. I have a question about Java. Is an interface like each file in C? I guess that's an interesting question. I guess one of the in terms of the in the essence, I would say I would probably go with that answer no. In that in C, like a header file, like you can if you compile a header file, header file just has like a type. Definitions it just describes the like structure of things in the interfaces for functions, and it doesn't really generate if you properly structure a project, usually your header file doesn't actually generate any bytecode or symbols, but I guess technically like well, let's see, can an interface you probably I'm sure there's some functions and stuff in an interface that would actually correspond to some bytecode. Yeah, I would say it's basically just like it's a structure to hold the information in general. Well, actually, I would say read my article. I wrote an article a long time ago called Interfaces, the most important software engineering concept. And yeah, interfaces are a higher level typing concept. I would my long-winded answer would be go read my very long blog post, which actually it did pretty well back in the day. That was one of my first breakout blog posts. Is interfaces the most important? Maybe we could just pull it up. This computer is super slow. Hi, Robert. Not sure if you discussed this before. Have you heard you're having issues with your laptop fan? Why not use a desktop PC? I could. I don't really have spare money for another desktop right now. And then I don't know. I'm also kind of thinking like if I have to abandon ship on Ontario or something, then now I gotta like drag more stuff around. And but I think longer term, if I had lots of money, then I probably would. There we go. Interfaces. this is my long-winded answer on the concept of what an interface is in software. And so a bunch of people emailed me about it and said they liked it. So that's the. I wrote that a few years ago. I think I would some of the detail down here. I think I kind of got off track down here, but I actually, it's in my to-do list to like write a follow-up to that, because I think there's some other more like generalized theoretical things you could say about interfaces in engineering in general. And but anyway, I digress. Why declare the method? The primary advantage is you can completely separate the implementation from the interface. So the interface is the contract between, it's the like kind of minimum contract that needs to be satisfied. And so it's particularly useful if you don't know, like if you want to do mock testing or something. So, one of my first introductions to an interface in Java was, I'll bring that up. We had to write this like player. We had to make this radio playing app, and it would play music from radio stations on an app. Actually, that was the BlackBerry Playbook app that I worked on, and we had to we had to include this interface, the interface to talk to the radio station. But the thing is, we had like 3 different radio stations. So we had one, the computer program had to work. We wanted it to work instead of writing like 3 different codes to play the radio station on. They were all like totally different sets of code from scratch. We want to make the code as common as possible. So stuff like play radio station was there would be a method in the interface, and so it would not have an implementation, because you don't know what the implementation was. There's 3 different implementations depending on the different radio station, because every different radio station like had a different. It was like a completely different company that if you think about radio stations right now, there's thousands of radio stations, but the play operation is different for every single individual radio station. And so that's why it made sense for us to program our code to the radio station app, interface. And then when we actually like made an instance of something, we created an instance of that implements the interface, like the play, stop, whatever operation, next. And the individual implementation would depend on that radio station, because every one of them had like a different API, and they had all kinds of different options. And problem with biometric scans, they feel intrusive, and of course it's a bummer not being able to regenerate. Yeah, that's I predict that'll be a source of like amusing security flaw. Like fingerprints are public information. You could take a picture of someone's finger and zoom into it. Like you take a really nice photo and get like a telephoto lens and get a photo of someone's fingerprint, and then just like you could fake that, and like that would be costly and time consuming. But how much money does it cost? Like you could do that for less than $1,000, and if you can steal someone's cryptocurrency or whatever. And the thing is, the more we rely on something that's public information, the more it's going to become cost effective to use fraud to try and get that. So it's the long-term viability of that is not very good. And I'm sure think about how useful it would be to build some hack that's going to steal everyone's fingerprints, and then we're going to have the dark web's going to have like a zip file with everyone's fingerprint on it. I'm sure criminals would pay a lot of money for that. In my personal experience, you won't understand it unless you reach a point where you have to use interface. Yeah, actually, in a lot of cases, I find a very common thing is I'll start off with an interface, and then later I'll be like, oh wait, I actually want a class. And then I'll rename the interface into a class, and then I'll just make it an abstract base class and then subclass it. Linux uses the concept of file as interface to communicate with file, process devices, and so on. Yeah, that's another example. Laptops are nice for travel and power efficiency. Yeah, there's enough. I don't know. I guess I don't move around that much, but well, we'll see in the future. This would be kind of the time for me to get a desktop would have been many years ago. Have you considered moving to a more tech-heavy place like Silicon Valley? I mean, that's easier said than done. I can't just go there. I have to have a visa, so that means I have to get a job at a tech company. I gotta spend. All my stuff is here, so there's the logistics of moving down there, it's moving costs and stuff. It's I think I'd probably end up doing the opposite. Java's been a bit difficult to grasp, coming from C and Python. I find it to be quite bloated. It is verbose for sure, but in my opinion, the verbose nature, like the fact that you're writing interfaces in class and stuff like that, it's more work, but you actually get something for it, and the compiler is able to, do a lot of the heavy lifting with all the type information you give. I have this idea that if we all agreed to post our social security numbers on a website, then people would have to stop using it as a secret identifier. That'd be kind of funny. Yeah, probably a lot of people would do that just for fun. Someone who's coded both Python and Java, I'm surprised you call Java bloated. ThinkPad T20 with i7 CPU, 8 gigabytes RAM, runs Arch like a charm. Is the fan constantly spinning? That's the main issue I have. Python is bloated, but Java seems difficult for me. At least Python has a lot of syntax sugar. I think the newest versions of Java actually do have a lot more syntax sugar and stuff. And I think there's still a lot of old Java template code, but if you're using the very, very latest, I can't even remember what it is, but the very latest version of Java, a lot of the kind of crazy, and actually some of it is there's a bunch of streams. It almost looks like it's they're trying to make it look like Python or something, but I guess it's a little bit more verbose. But some of it starts to get a bit hard to follow for me. If I remember right, you can visit USA for a certain amount of time, as long as you go back home. As in day trip. Yeah, I could probably go down for 6 months and then return and stuff. But honestly, the question is what does that really benefit me? Yeah, I need to, especially with the filming and stuff. For right now in front of me, there's I got the pop filter, I got the really nice mic, and I've got I got my monitor here I'm looking at, and then I got the camera on the tripod over there, and then I got the laptop that's actually doing streaming, and I got all this I got the preamp over there, all this junk to look around and stuff. Our government would ignore it. Yeah, I don't know. If it got really big, they'd probably get some kind of cease and desist or something. C has simple syntax, and it works. C just works is quite an overstatement. In my opinion, it's back to the question about what are you using the language for? I think Java does not really even compete in a lot of the same for the same market share as C. So C makes sense for embedded devices, specifically. Like C, if you want to do like restricted embedded devices like Arduino and stuff like that, I know you can do Python and stuff, but I think like real serious embedded development, there's really no competitor, and C is the only language for like serious embedded systems programming. But if you're doing like middleware, or the other example was core utils, commands and stuff like that, I actually think like most of those are written in C now, but Rust is another would be a decent candidate for that. And I think also Java kind of competes in the same market for what Rust does. And I think Go is probably also in that arena. People say working with C is hard. Seems more like a skill issue. Just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. If you're doing a bunch of like a lot of the memory management stuff, there's a lot of programs where you'll end up just like rewriting your own like memory management, memory pooling type thing if you write stuff in C long enough, and it can be kind of wasteful. Hi guys, how are we doing? Not too bad. People say skills you then continue to code CVEs. That's good that you don't code any CVEs. You won't do any streams anymore. I'm doing one right now. I've been doing one every Saturday for quite a while. Someone you will like Go. I've never programmed Go, but I'm aware of it. I think actually the people who designed Go, I think are actually the creators of C, if I remember correctly, or some of the same people. Honestly, I'm thinking to make my own garbage collector in C. Screw memory management. You can, but should you? That's the important question. Use NIM, Python syntax with both GC and manual memory managed. NIM, I'm not even familiar with that. Too lazy to free heap memory in my mini programs. I don't know. That's gonna catch up with you after a while. Oh, NeoVim. All these new technologies, Leet code, NeoVim. These are all after my time. VS Code. Programming language Bend looks pretty insane. Never heard of that. Let's see, did I cover everything? Yeah, I think I did all my updates. I think I'll maybe call it a night, call it a stream for this one. This stream is a little bit shorter than the last one, which was 14 hours. Yeah, this I guess just I think it makes sense to do those challenges, trying to push forward, and then maybe I'll do some more challenges. That way I'm not asking for something in every single stream. Some of them are just like fun and hang out, and then over time, as things evolve, I'll come up with more ideas for. There's also I think the other thing is you can also send people stickers or something. Maybe we'll do one where I try to get as many stickers as possible or something, just to continue going to test out all of the different monetization options that streaming offers. So how are those extensive renovations going? I did hear there was one apartment being renovated here. Of course, the next extensive renovations hearing is May 26th, so that's far enough off. I can kind of not think about it for a little while, but yeah. So next week I'll actually be able to be productive, I think, and I'll probably still try to do the Tuesday live stream where I test the audio of for the mobile device and stuff. Kind of scummy what your landlord is doing, yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of scummy stuff going on up here in Canada and in the U.S. too. But what can you do? You just keep on fighting and keep your head above water. But anyway, I'll probably call it a night, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you to any of the new channel members, and for the $10 chat revenue. Anyway, see you guys next week.